My God, finally, we have someone in the mainstream sports media using common sense, using their brain, refusing to fall into the trap of groupthink, calling attention to something that I will admit I hadn't even thought about. And this may have been brought up by somebody else, but I'm going to give Emmanuel Acho all the credit because he's the one that brought it to my attention. What I'm about to share with you is pure brilliance. I don't get pumped up for too much. I get excited for my Saints. I get excited when I see a certain individual. I get excited about playing golf. I get excited about my YouTube channel. And I'll admit, I do get a little bit excited when I see something like this from Emmanuel Acho. My boy, this dude right here, Emmanuel Acho. Someone give this man an ESPY. I know the ESPY awards are meaningless. I know no one cares or wants to have an award given by ESP. And you know what? To hell with giving him an ESPY. Give Emmanuel Acho his own show. Give this man a raise. We have been talking all week about hypocrisy. Hell, we've been talking about hypocrisy in the mainstream media for 2 years now. But it's been a focal point on the channel this week. Even though Fox Sports 1 airs Undisputedly Woke, I don't really have a problem with it. I don't agree with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe, but at least Fox balances their coverage. They balance the opinions on the network. It is not like that at ESPN. We have spent the last 2 days going over the Project Veritas investigation on ESPN and the outright corruption going on at the network. FS1, they air Undisputedly Woke in the morning, and they contrast that with Marcellus Wiley and Emmanuel Acho in the afternoon. Two black dudes who, unlike Shannon Sharpe, these are two men who get it. They see through the bullshit. They don't just jump on the woke bandwagon every time their colleagues in the media try to turn black people into victims. Everyone knows by now, Brian Flores is suing the NFL. He's claiming there's a bias in the league against black head coaches. We covered the details of the lawsuit extensively last week. If you missed it, you can find the video in the archives. I believe I published it last Wednesday. So we have Brian Flores suing the NFL. The evil white owners are holding black men back. 60% of the players in the league are black, but we don't have that same representation at the head coaching position. Unlike ESPN, who makes hiring decisions based on melanin percentage, NFL teams make hiring decisions based on merit and qualification. This is the most competitive league in the world. The margin of error between the worst team in the league and the best team is razor thin. The NFL is literally a game of inches. Take the Detroit Lions, for example, who many felt was the worst team in the league last season. 7 of their 14 ties or losses were one-possession games. One play, one drive was the difference between winning and losing. The Lions were 3-13-1. That one play, that one drive, if it goes the Lions' way, you're looking at the same team being 10-6-1. That's a playoff team. That is how close NFL teams are. These teams don't give a shit about the race of the head coach. They just want a coach that can win. Anyway, got off on another tangent there. Again, the point was Brian Flores is suing the NFL because there's not enough black head coaches in the league. Check out what Emmanuel Acho points out. This is brilliant, I think. It shows the complete hypocrisy with Brian Flores. Roll the damn film.
Brian Flores is represented by 2 different attorneys, 2 different law firms. But one of the law firms is, I believe it's Doug Wigdor LLP, that law firm. Okay. I did a little perusing, Marcellus Wiley,
Did you?
of the law firm that's representing Brian Flores. And I noticed a complete, utter lack of diversity in that law firm. All of the partners in the law firm are white. And if you go to the law firm's webpage, every person of the 19 people on that webpage, you will not find one black person. You will find one Asian individual. So wait a second, Brian Flores. You are suing the NFL because of a lack of diversity, and your representation in suing the NFL lacks diversity. Somebody got to make it make sense.
Oh, nobody gonna make that.
That's the only part that truly irks me is how can you sue the NFL for lacking diversity in their head coaching rankings, but the representation you have suing the NFL has less diversity than the NFL in which you're suing.
Absolutely fucking brilliant. Emmanuel Acho is absolutely right. 100% correct. How the hell can Brian Flores sue the NFL for lack of diversity, and he hires a law firm to represent him with zero diversity? None. Look at this law firm. Take a look at all this diversity. That screen is so white, I had to put on sunglasses when I pulled up the website. I have seen more diversity at an Eskimo village in the North Pole than I see at this law firm. Where is Stephen A. Smith? Where is Stephen A. Smith? Where is the fake outrage from Stephen A.? He doesn't have any fake outrage at this point for a couple of reasons. Number one, he was absolutely humiliated again by JJ Redick on Woke Take. JJ Redick, his days on that show are numbered. He proves everything that I have said about Stephen A. This dude cannot debate his position. He is told what to say, and anytime he is hit with just a little bit of resistance, he completely folds. But number two, you are not going to hear this take on ESPN because it doesn't fit their narrative. It doesn't matter that Brian Flores' law firm lacks diversity. This was never about diversity to begin with. This is about changing public perception of the NFL. They want to bring this league to its knees and force it into compliance. It's the same thing they're doing with Joe Rogan, who, by the way, Joe Rogan, I just feel like he's fucking up terribly right now. I like Joe Rogan. I really do. I was hoping he was going to be the Howard Stern of this generation, the man who never wavers and stands up against the bullshit. It feels like every morning I wake up now, it's another story of Joe Rogan apologizing. You cannot apologize to social justice warriors. You just can't do it. These are not normal people. In your day-to-day life, if you make a mistake in a personal relationship, you apologize, your significant other accepts your apology, and you both move on. That is not how it works in the utopia of wokeness. These people see an apology as a sign of weakness, and once they see weakness, they pounce. They go into overdrive. They ignite the Virgin Patrol on Twitter. They call their fellow identifiers in the mainstream media to stay on top of you 24/7 until you fully submit to the pressure. Right now, Joe Rogan and the NFL are the targets of the graduates of Woke U. I told you guys last week, Brian Flores is being used. I actually feel bad for him. I really do. Again, this is pure speculation on my part, but Brian Flores is being used. He has allowed these people to convince him to become the face of the movement against the NFL, and he better damn sure hope he gets a massive settlement because he will never work in this league again. There's not one NFL owner that's going to touch him after this, and who the hell can blame him? NFL franchises are no different than large corporations. When it comes to issues of human resources, HR issues, all corporations are risk averse. They don't want to run the risk of being hit with a lawsuit. Now, what is the best way to not be hit with a lawsuit? You don't put yourself in that position to begin with. Go back and read the media reaction to the Dolphins firing Brian Flores. Dolphins owner Stephen Ross is clearly a racist. He fired a black man with 2 winning seasons. This is clearly a case of discrimination. Stephen Ross, who has a black GM that he held on to, who hired a black head coach in Brian Flores, gets accused of being a racist when he fires him. That's why I said last week, Brian Flores filing this lawsuit, it actually makes things worse on black head coaching candidates. It creates fear in NFL front offices. They're in a no-win situation. If we hire a black coach and fire him, we receive racial accusations. If we don't hire a black head coach, there will be backlash for a little while, then it will subside. If you're an NFL owner, which route are you going to take? Which is the most risk averse? I will give you guys a real life analogy, something that happened when I was in management years and years ago. I may have told this story before, so those of you who have been with me for a while, you may have already heard it. If so, you're going to hear it again. About 10 years ago, I was looking to hire someone for an inside sales position. I was managing a small office. There were maybe 5 or 6 of us in there, but it was all men in the office. The day to day talk in that office would cause the virgins on Twitter to tear off their ears. It was typical man talk. That was the atmosphere, that was the environment. Small office, like I said. Now, I had narrowed it down to 2 candidates for the job, one dude and one female. The woman was more qualified. She was an older woman, or older than me at the time. Anyway, I was young, maybe 27, 28 years old. She was in her mid 50s. Now, the dude I was considering hiring, he was closer to my age, maybe 30, 35 years old. There were 2 older men working in the office with me. I called them the old heads, but I listened to these guys. They had 30 years of experience, and here you have me. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just starting out. These 2 men approached me late one afternoon and asked me, who I was going to hire. I told them I'm going to hire the woman. I will never, I will never forget what they told me. At that point in my life, I had never even thought about this. But they said, if you bring a woman into this office setting, we're all dudes in here. If you bring a woman into this setting, the entire dynamic is going to change. We'll have to watch what we say. There could be potential HR issues. You're going to have to watch your cursing. You curse every other word. This woman is an avid churchgoer. She's a strong Christian. There will be no more locker room talk. There will be no more dirty jokes. There will be no more playing around and insulting each other. The atmosphere in the office is going to change. It has to change. Now, even though she's more qualified, is it really worth the risk? Is it worth the risk of one of us slipping up at some point, and it will happen, and have to worry about her going to HR with whatever happened? Or worst case scenario, filing a lawsuit. I ended up listening to him. I hired the dude that was closer to my age instead. Now, was it ethical? No, wasn't ethical. Was it wrong? I mean, you could make the case both ways, really. Was it the right decision? That's debatable. Does this same scenario happen in offices every day across America? Yes. Don't think that same conversation, that same scenario, the 2 old heads that told me at 27 years old, about this, don't think that does not happen in NFL front offices. This is why I said this Brian Flores lawsuit only makes things worse. When you attach the fear of litigation, companies are going to do everything in their power to mitigate those risks. I outlined last week one potential way to get more black men head coaching jobs in the NFL. There are ways to make this happen, but I can tell you right now, trying to strong arm the NFL into compliance, trying to sue them, is not the way to go. All right, let me know what you guys think. Emmanuel Acho calling out the hypocrisy of Brian Flores. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.